Welcome, my friends, to another YouTube version of the BJJ Brick Podcast. I hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, please subscribe to the channel. So here we go.
Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
All right, my friends, welcome back to episode 214 of the BJJ Brick Podcast. My name is Byron. I'm here with my buddy Gary. We have been called the Starsky and Hutch of the Jiu-Jitsu podcasting world. Gary, what's happening?
You know, it's just great to be part of this dynamic duo, Byron. You know, Starsky and Hutch, Tom and Jerry, Horshack and Mr. Cotter, you know, just all those guys.
Yep, we're going to be amazing duo. And even really next week, we got that will be taken to the next level also. But this week, we have an awesome show, Gary. We can't believe what we have going on.
Byron, what do we got going on this week?
Gary, I'm glad you asked who we have on the show. We have Gezary Matuda, multi-world champion, black belt. She's going to be sharing a lot of knowledge with us. And we also have another guest, Kathryn Arnold. And that name may not be as familiar as Gezary. Gezary is also, people know her as Gezary. That might be more familiar to you. Now, Kathryn Arnold is not a black belt. She really is... I could probably even do jiu-jitsu better than Kathryn. Not trying to talk too much trash on anybody here.
No, not at all.
It's rare that I'm actually more proficient at jiu-jitsu than one of the guests, so I'm trying to brag myself up a little bit here. But there is a big cruise going on, Gary.
Yes, definitely a big cruise. The Grapplers Escape. You know, it's, what is it, April 29th to May 6th?
That's right, Gary.
Yep. So, you know, numerous seminars, open mats, you know, world champions to learn from. Braulio Estima, also going to be there is Keenan Cornelius. So, you know, just an all-star cast. And, I mean, what is better than jiu-jitsu on a cruise? Buffets, food, sailing, snorkeling, you know, laying out by the deck, you know, exploring different cities. You know, what a great time.
Yeah, I've been on a couple cruises myself. They're absolutely amazing, and I couldn't imagine doing jiu-jitsu on a cruise. Man, that's cool.
Yeah, that's even better. I mean, a cruise and jiu-jitsu. What else could you ask for? Well, besides buffets, and you already have those. Yeah.
Gary, we're talking a little bit about buffets here, and I'd like to bring up this week's off-the-mat lesson. Gary and I were talking a little bit before the episode, and I actually often enjoy a good buffet, and sometimes I'm a victim of my own vices of overeating sometimes, but there are a couple of different things option-wise on cruises. There's a million options, but there's a big buffet that you can go to like any time. It's always going to be cranking out food, and if you're hungry at any time, you just go to the buffet and get some food. Or there's a really nice sit-down restaurant, and I think it's a dinner thing, at least the ones that I've done, and you kind of have a time scheduled, and you have a little higher... more fancy of a meal. So there's all these different food options, and I'm thinking, how does this relate to jiu-jitsu? And it's really pretty simple. There are, you know, millions of options of techniques. Maybe not quite that many, but there's like a huge variety of techniques. And you go to a buffet, and there's a huge variety of food. Now, you can't really eat everything in one sitting. And when you go to...
Oh, yeah, you can.
You could try.
Some people can do it.
Some people can. And also, if the buffet is small, that helps a lot.
Definitely helps.
You know, but you can't go to jiu-jitsu, you know, in one meal or one session of training and really decide to work on everything. That doesn't really work for you. You need to have something in particular. If you go to the buffet and, man, I want some chicken. What kind of chicken do I want? Kind of narrow it down to a certain type. Or if you want some vegetables. Whatever it is, you have to have that selection, and you have to make it in order to have a good meal. Otherwise, you just end up overwhelmed. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. If you have like a goal or something that you want to work on, your class will go better for you. And fortunately for us, most classes have an instructor that will teach a technique to us. So that's kind of narrowing down the buffet options. And it's like the person is recommending the fish today. You know, it's like, today we're going to do arm bars. And it kind of helps you focus a little bit. But also do this while you're rolling. if you have some goals and some things you're working on while you're rolling, huge payoffs in the long run. Compared to if you're just basically fighting with your training partners and trying to get anything you can, if you have some goals and you have some things you want to work on, I think you grow a lot faster.
But what if your goal is to just eat, just be gluttonous, eat as much as you possibly can? Then that would be the buffet, if that was your goal.
Yeah, but still, you're only going to get like a couple of different options for the main course. That's the way I am. And then I kind of peter out, and then I go back one more time, and I regret the last time.
Yeah, and then, you also have to look about, overindulging. I mean, you're on this cruise, you want to train as much as possible, learn stuff, get better, but it's definitely going to be hard to train, on a overstuffed stomach when you're not feeling good because you've ate too much. Or if you, just got done with a buffet and you go to the, pressure side mount class. That's not going to be fun. You may actually get kicked off the cruise, for messiness.
That's the beauty of the cruise, because you could eat at any time. So kind of arrange your meals around your training and be smart with that. There's no... some of the they have it's like a little town, really, these cruise ships. Some of them will have little shops that serve food. And once you get on there, most of these shops are just free. They just hand you food. It's really weird. And because it's all figured into how much you're going to get. And it's kind of like a buffet, like where I try to get my money's worth out of the thing. And I overeat all the time. But, if you end up training kind of late, eat late, it would work out on that. And you just need to be careful of, the idea of when you're going to eat and when you're going to train. I think you set your schedule out and you just stick with that, and it might even help you not overeat. A guy like me, Gary's not a big buffet guy. He's more of the sit down and enjoy a nice meal type of a guy.
To be honest, I just like to eat, but I like to eat what I want to eat. Which is kind of like, I'm going to tell them what I want to eat. I don't want to, have a whole bunch of stuff and just pick out what I want. I'm not a huge buffet guy, so I like to sit down eating there.
It is awkward when, when I'm not going to buffets a lot, but sometimes I go to a buffet and I'm really going to town and I look around and I'm like the most fit person by far in there. I'm like, man, I can't do this too much, because it's kind of like a reality check that this isn't sustainable to maintain this sort of eating thing. You can do it for a day, do it for a week, whatever, but you got to be careful.
Yeah,
with the
but Byron and I actually have a training partner who I think could destroy the buffet. Lewis.
Yes.
Don't you think Lewis could, Byron?
Yeah, he takes pride in eating large quantities of food.
Yeah, he would put that buffet out of business. So if you're listening to Lewis, we got your back, literally.
That's right, Gary.
I would like to talk about Byron's audiobook. We do have links to it on the show notes, but this week we're going to talk about 6 games for BJJ. Byron actually has 2 audiobooks, 6 games for BJJ and your first year in BJJ. But the games for BJJ is sometimes all us grapplers, jiu-jitsu practitioners, we're going to get in a rut. Our game, may not be going anywhere. We're a little frustrated. And, I think this is a good time for the games. It's going to change your game up. It's going to basically, make you do different things, and you're going to have fun while doing it. You're going to develop, your social aspects of your team while getting better at your game. And sometimes you're playing these games and your partner doesn't even know it. One thing that Byron really advocates is, going to your bad side. If you always pass to one side or, hit arm bars from the other side, work your other side at this time. It's just something that's going to change your game up, make your game a little more unique, and it's just going to get you out of that rut. You're going to have fun. So definitely check it out. It's only $5.99, and we have a link to it on the show notes, and it's got some great reviews, and it's really helped out a lot of people. So definitely check it out.
Yep, if you feel like you're on a plateau, it will get you off that plateau. I really haven't felt like I've been on a plateau it's been over 5 years. I've continually feel like I'm getting better, and playing these games has helped do that.
It's funny. I'm kind of in the same way. I don't feel like I've been in a plateau. I may have a bad day, but I haven't really had like a bad week or a deep valley. And I think it's just because I'm always having fun, and and I guess I'm not overtraining. I don't train as much as I used to. So every time I'm coming in, I'm just happy. And I do use your games a lot. And a lot of times somebody doesn't even know I'm working them. But, I'm just out there having fun and trying different stuff. So it's definitely helped me, Byron.
Yeah. Helping people is important, Gary. I think that's kind of about the quote today.
You're right, Byron. Our quote this week is never reach out your hand unless you're willing to extend an arm. And that's from Pope Paul VI. First of all, I do want to have a disclaimer. In jiu-jitsu, we never want to extend an arm. So, that is, we're just talking about a quote, how to be a good person and literally helping other people off the mat. On the mat, please do not extend your arm unless you're rolling with me. And then I would like you to extend your arm. But really what Pope Paul VI is trying to say is don't offer to help someone if you are not prepared to follow through. If Byron says, hey, Gary, I need help cutting my yard, which, Byron probably does not know how to start a lawnmower. And what good is it going to do? And it's not being a good friend if, hey, Byron, I'll take care of that. And Byron needed it done because he has his, he has friends coming over on Sunday, and he wants me to do it on Saturday. And I'd say, Byron, I'll do it. Saturday comes along, and I never show up. And next thing you know, Byron's friends come over on Sunday, and they all laugh at him. And Byron does have low self-esteem, and it's just going to make it worse because I did not follow through. So basically, be a man of your word. Be a woman of your word. If you tell someone you're going to do it, follow through. Extend your arm. Help them out. Do what you say you're going to do, and just be a great person.
Be a great person. And I really don't know who. I'm not really familiar with the popes, so who Pope Paul VI is, but hopefully that's a good one. I don't know. I assume that they are. But yeah, don't
I
reach
think
out
they're all good, Byron.
I like your disclaimer not to reach out your hand, and I immediately had visions of somebody doing the slap and fist bump before the roll and doing that as close to their own body as possible, like holding your hand up right off of your chest and then holding the fist right next to your chest as well, and seeing if you can get your opponent to kind of extend their arm a little bit more than they should. That's how I'm gonna try that, Gary. See if it works and get them off to the bad habit of really reaching when they shouldn't.
That's a good. Yeah, we shouldn't really fist bump. We should almost get our bodies right next to each other and keep our arms. Let's start a new trend, Byron. Let's try that.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, just try it. Yeah, you give that a shot, Gary. I'm sure it'll go great.
See. I'll let you know next week what happens.
Gary gave a really nice example about mowing the lawn and how that would really apply. Help me out.
That was a great example.
I'll do one jiu-jitsu style. It wasn't a whole long time ago. Gary gets choked unconscious, and you help revive somebody. That's extending the hand. That's doing the minimal amount of help. Here you go. I'm helping you out, Gary. Waking you up, and he wakes up, and it's like, wouldn't you know it? Gary kind of needs a new pair of shorts, and okay, fine, Gary. I'm here to help you out, buddy. I'll let you wear these home. And so that's really extending the arm. I'd rather not have him borrow those shorts right now, but because he needs them, I want to help him. I don't do the minimum amount of help. I help him for what he actually needs. I don't help the category of help that I really want to do. You help what they need. It's if you decide to help somebody, give them what they need. Don't give them what you want.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that day, because I did not want to, I got a 20-minute ride home, and I didn't want to do it in soiled pants, but the crazy thing is, Byron actually kept those. After I took them off and I was going to throw them in the trash can, Byron asked if he could have them. And I just thought he was going to throw them away. But from what I understood is Byron has kept those, and he keeps them on his nightstand.
Well, so, actually, they're my lucky shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's, it's not fun rolling with him when he wears them.
Yeah. It's like, catching the sweat towel of a famous athlete at a big game. I got to carry his soiled pants. Am I going to wash them? No.
Yeah.
Those things, one of these days I'm going to sell them on eBay, Gary.
Yep. I mean, last time Byron wore them and rolled, it kind of reminded me of the mudslides of California.
All right. With the quote wrapped up and a little bit of trash talking on the first half of the show, I'm really excited to bring on the interviews.
Yep. Let's cruise on over to the interviews, Byron.
Nice, Gary.
That was terrible.
Cruise on at what?
Cruise on over to the interview. Cheesy.
He is the most interesting grappler in the world.
credits most of his wins to maintaining eye contact with his opponent. His gi never smells, even after rolling with the stinky guy. He is often seen riding a unicorn to open mat. When he got his white belt, black belt traveled for hundreds of miles just to roll with him.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the BJJ Brick podcast. Stay sweaty, my friends.
All right, my friends, I'm happy to bring Gezary Matuda to the BJJ Break podcast. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Byron. What's up? Hey, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. We were just talking a minute before on the air, and I was making sure I attempted to pronounce your name right. Did I get it?
Yeah, you did good. My name is Gezary, but mostly people here in America call me Gezary, so I'm okay with that.
And also some people call you just G.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
A lot of people just call me G or GG.
All right.
It's easier.
Yeah, it make it easy for people, I guess. I'm really happy to have you on this show, multi-time world champion, and you really fun to watch competitor, and you got a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're training, and what kind of brought you to jiu-jitsu.
I'm training now in Florida at American Top Team. I start training in Brazil. I'm from Curitiba, Brazil. And I moved to Florida when I was purple belt.
And you moved to kind of train? Is that the point of the moving, or to do jiu-jitsu?
No, like when I moved to here was because my husband, he got invited to be like a Muay Thai striking coach here at American Top Team. So we decided to move, and like jiu-jitsu is what I really like to do. So I just keep doing jiu-jitsu. Then I start to go to the big tournaments like Pan Ams and Worlds. So this is how I really start, in United States.
All right. And why did you get started in jiu-jitsu? How did that happen?
I really like martial arts. Since I was a kid, I started with capoeira. I don't know if you know what it is. Yeah, it's like I did a capoeira for like 2 or 3 years. And then later I started doing Muay Thai. After Muay Thai, then I jumped to Jiu-Jitsu.
And what about Jiu-Jitsu attracted you to it? Why did you stick with it and become so good at it?
Yeah, like when I started Jiu-Jitsu was not because I want to do Jiu-Jitsu. I usually like just doing Muay Thai. I like to stand up. Then my teacher kind of forced me to go to a Jiu-Jitsu tournament. And I lost my first tournament. And after that, I started doing Jiu-Jitsu. Was like a challenge for me.
And that was motivating, the challenge?
Yeah, after I lost, I really feel like I need to learn, and I want to beat the girl so bad. So I trained for 3 more months. Then we fought again. Then I won, and this is how it started. And then I never stopped anymore.
And looking at some competition highlights, world champion, black belt, 2015 and 2013. Is that correct?
I have 3 world titles as a black belt. I guess was I can see here my medals.
That helps.
Yeah, so I have as a purple belt 2010. Then I have a brown belt 2012. Then black belt 2013, 14, and 16.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like going from competing at brown belt and purple belt to black belt? Was there a huge change, or were you competing with the same people, just at different levels?
That's a very good question, Baron. When I fought as a brown belt, back in the days, was together with black belts because we don't have that many girls. So I was a brown belt competing against the black belts. And was like a really good experience because now this don't happen anymore. Now all the divisions is separate, because we do have a lot of girls now. But yeah, I'm very proud to be part of the generation who fought like brown and black belt together. You know? So like, I won my Pan Ams as a brown belt against black belts. So when I jump in on the black belt, I already know what to expect,
Yeah, it maybe wasn't as intimidating as it could have been if you had never competed against the black belt before.
Yeah. I was like brown belt competing against a black belt who was already like black belt world champion, So yeah, make me tougher.
Jazi, tell me a little bit about your game that you play, maybe some of your favorite techniques and the things you like to do on the mat.
I'm like a submission hunter. I always look for submission, and my favorite submission is armbar. So I always, when they see like I'm training or I'm trying to do something, most of the time I look for arms.
Do you prefer to play a top game or a bottom game working for those arm bars or anywhere?
Yeah, I change that a lot, I'm usually like a guard player, but like my coach always say I need to try improve where I don't feel that comfortable. So I kind of start to prove my top game. So now I kind of, I like to play both,
Yeah, that's good. There's arm bars everywhere, and I'm sure you'll find them. That's cool to kind of keep changing it up and getting better at certain areas.
Yes, always like if I feel like my guard is starting not that, getting that good, so I start playing more on bottle to make my guard better. So yeah, I always play both.
When did you decide that armbar was one of your favorite things? Was it something that you've been doing a long time, or was it something that as a brown belt or a black belt you started to develop a good armbar?
Yeah, it was like a natural move for me. So like I was white belt, was always like my good move was arm bars. And yeah, I always try look arms from everywhere, like if I'm on bottom or top on the back, I always want the arm. It was like a natural move.
Yeah, that's interesting that you've had the same basic favorite thing that you like to do since you've been on the mat. That's really cool.
Yeah, and like by the time you start understand better, like where to grab, how to hold. So it's good. Like I doing this movie for so long.
Yeah, you've really got all the little details perfect, I'm sure. What are some of your goals that you have coming up, whether it's competition or coaching, or just what are some of your jiu-jitsu style of goals?
Yeah, like now on the end this year, I just gonna like doing seminars, and I have like a lot of trips coming up, so I will probably not compete anymore this year, but next year start everything again, like Europeans in January, Pan Ams in March, and the big tournament, what everybody wants to do in June is the Worlds, That's my big goal.
Yeah, and you'll be there going for that. That'll be fun to follow you there.
Yeah,
and watch you. I'd like to get some. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to bring like my forward title. That's my big goal for next year.
Cool, and we'll be watching as we do in this sport. I'd like to get a little bit of advice for the people out there that are trying to get better at jiu-jitsu. If somebody is going to be competing, they're a little nervous about it, they really don't know how to deal with that. Do you have any advice or some tips for them to deal with their early competitions?
Yeah, I think you need to try enjoy what you're feeling. You cannot get too nervous, but you cannot get too calm too. So you with how more you compete, more you start understand your feelings, and you try to control, and I like to always be around like my coach, my friends, the people that support me, and try enjoy the moment. Remember why you there and how much you prepare for there, and you doing what you love, and you're ready, always put in your mind and you're ready. Like when you train hard, when you're going to be ready. Just do your best and have fun.
Yeah, that is great advice, and really, if you feel those nerves, think about how much you've trained and got ready for this.
Yes.
And tell yourself you are ready. You may be nervous now, but you're as ready as you could be right now today, and you go out there and do your best.
Exactly. Have fun, do your best, and enjoy the moment.
What are you doing before a big match? You know it's going to be a difficult match, and you need to be mentally focused and ready to go. How are you getting ready and prepared, either physically or mentally, maybe 20 minutes before a big match is going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a black belt, we know never going to be an easy fight, like the level of the jiu-jitsu girls getting higher all the time. So this is why you always need to change a few things on your training. And yeah, when I jump in the mat, I know it's not going to be easy, but as I told you, I prepare for that, and I know it's not going to be easy for my opponents too.
Yeah, just kind of expect it to be difficult that way. I think that's a common mistake that a lot of new people have, is they think that they're just going to go out there and win and it'll be easy. And of course, jiu-jitsu is a hard thing. And, whether you're a white belt or a black belt, hopefully you're matched up with people who are going to give you a good match. And and don't think it's going to be easy, because you'll get discouraged the first minute the person has a mount on you as a white belt. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I always expect for the worst, and hope for the best.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to deal with your own surprise, also with the opponent at the same time. Kind of be prepared for things.
Yeah, sometimes the things doesn't happen the way how you want, so you need to be prepared to all kind of situations.
Yeah, and that's what's, I guess, cool about watching somebody go through a tournament, is because you have to fight and compete against people that are doing a variety of different things. Not everybody has the same game plan, and you have to address each individual competitor one at a time as you go and from each match and further up the division.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I always try don't focus on my opponent game plan, but I know like my game plan. So the only thing I need to do is just go there and put my game plan, So I try don't even let they start to do their game plan. I just want to put mine. Go
first and start your game plan right away.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah, now, you've been training for so long. When you started, were there very many women at the gym to train with?
When I start, no, I don't have that many girls. I think I was the only one for a few years, but now I do have a big and solid group of girls in the gym, and that's amazing, Jiu-jitsu should be for everyone, and it's really good for girls, for women, doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter your goals. I think everybody should do jiu-jitsu.
That's really cool, and you've really built that, having been a pioneer there, and obviously other women. I think it's a little easier for them to start training if there are other women already there, but there's gyms all over the world, and there are girls listening, and they're the only one at the gym. And so, what advice do you have for maybe yourself back, a long time ago when you were the only girl, or maybe just advice for some girl out there that's training with, a dozen or so guys, and there's really no other girls around there to roll with?
Yeah, it's not, like I tell you, it's not easy, to jump in the middle of a bunch of guys and you're the only girl there. And it's not gonna be easy, but gonna make you tough. Like some days you're gonna cry, you're gonna think about give up, but then the other day you get back. And I think the good tip is always try to talk with your teacher, with your coach, and I think you need have a very good communication with your coach. And he as a coach going to know who to partner up, like who put you to training, because make no sense to put big and have white belt against a small girl who is starting, like the good tip is always try put a white belt with a high level belt so they can help each other.
Yeah, it definitely makes it safer, and the role becomes less of a competition and more of a learning thing for the white belt.
Yeah, you try make at least for the first classes, a good experience, and then the students start be comfortable by time, because it's hard to jump in the mat for the first week, first day, and you have a very bad experience. You're never more going to come back.
Yeah, it really makes a lot of sense. We're going to have tough days on the mat, and we're going to have days we go home and we're like, man, I did not do good today, and I'm frustrated, and those days. But if that's your first day that you leave frustrated, that might also be your last day. And so coaches need to listen to that advice and make sure they have a good first day, a good first week, and a good start.
Yeah, especially for girls, of course, girls and guys are different, but it's already so hard to put a girls on the mat. So I don't ask for special treatment, and don't need to be that easy, but it's good to give a little bit extra attention when you partner up. Try to make the same weight, a little bit higher belts to help until she feel comfortable on the mat.
Yeah, and it's also I've always said if you don't want to roll with somebody, that's perfectly fine. It may not be a weight thing. Some of the bigger guys at my gym roll great when they are rolling with my wife. Some of the smaller guys, she'd rather not roll with them because they're a little bit rougher and just not as maybe of a learning thing. And it's not always the size, but sometimes it's more the personality.
Technical, yeah, exactly.
And I tell her it's okay to say no, or it's okay to take a round off and to watch too. If you don't want to roll with somebody, don't roll with somebody.
Yeah, this is why you need the very good communication with your coach, because if you say no one time, you don't even need ask again, It's just roll with who you feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's so important for the coach to have kind of an understanding of what's happening in the room and have control of kind of the overall atmosphere.
Yes.
So something really cool is happening. You're going on a cruise, and the jiu-jitsu community is invited to train with you on the cruise.
Exactly. I'm super excited. I'm super happy. We're going to go to Grappler Escapes. It's going to be my first time in the cruise. So it's going to be really fun. It's like a jiu-jitsu cruise.
Yeah, you're gonna cruises are so much fun. This cruise, it sails out of Orlando, Florida. It leaves on April 29th and gets back on May 6th, 2018. Yes. And it goes to it goes to Haiti, Jamaica, and Cozumel, and so that
Cozumel.
Yeah, all those are going to be beautiful stops.
It's like jiu-jitsu in the paradise.
Yeah. So, from the way I understand it, there'll be some training, like maybe in the morning, and then you go and you hang out in Cozumel, in the daytime, and you get back on the ship, and you could train again in the evening. Is that kind of what's happening there?
Yes, and it's gonna be me, Keenan Cornelius, and Braulio Estima. So it's gonna be really fun, meet new people, do what you like, and jiu-jitsu, beach, good food. It's gonna be amazing.
It sounds like an amazing time. You get to be on a ship, and of course these ships are huge. They're they're like a building that's floating on the water. They're so big and there's so many people. But in that group of people, there'll be a smaller community that is the jiu-jitsu group. And of course, all the jiu-jitsu people I think are going to come together and really get to know each other over the course of this week, and just have great times and really great training. Do you have any idea of what you're going to be teaching as far as maybe some techniques when you're on the cruise?
Usually when I teach, I like to show like my favorite positions, like with my details, the way how I like to do. And yeah, I'm open to answer the questions, but yeah, I'm okay to show like my game, the things what I like to do, like arm bars, and I hope like to have a few girls there and we can do like something separate too. I think this is what Kathryn say, like you're gonna have like some girls training and then like everybody together too. And I'm excited to train with Braulio and Keenan, It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think everybody will get a lot of it, and it'll be a great time. What about the actual cruise are you excited about?
Oh, yeah. So as I told you, it's going to be my first time in the cruise. I've never been in the cruise. So I don't know. I think it's going to be super fun. I try bring like a few group of my gym, like American Top Team, so it's going to be like everybody doing jiu-jitsu and go to the beach and have fun together.
Yeah. That's it. Cruises are really like a really laid back, perfect vacation where you don't have to really be worried about getting somewhere. You're on the ship. The captain is going to take care of you. Arriving somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, then you stop and you like go out and take pictures. Then we come back to the ship.
Yeah, and they a lot of times. And it depends what you want to do. They could stop at Jamaica and you could just hop off the ship and go hang out on the beach, or you could kind of arrange something and go out and do, zip lining or jumping off of a cliff into this water. I don't know what they have in Jamaica, snorkeling or scuba diving. There's a ton of different things you could do.
Yeah, snorkeling. Yeah. I'm excited to do like swim with the sharks or something,
Well, that's what jiu-jitsu is, right? Swimming with the sharks.
Yeah, Shark Tank.
Except for on the mat, you're the shark, and in the water, well, they're kind of the shark.
Yeah, I'm the little fish there.
No, but that's funny. But all these things that they have, they are, from my experience, I've been on 2 cruises. They are a ton of fun, and some of them are really exciting if that's what you're looking for. But they do focus on safety a lot of times, or they do focus on safety because they don't want their customers going out there getting hurt. So if you're in the water, they have an idea of when is a safe time to be in the water, and I've never felt like I was in any danger. I've done snorkeling several times from cruises and different beaches and just had a great time. There's really some cool things to see.
Yes. And the Grappler Escapes is the only cruise you need pack your gi. No other cruise you need your gi, but on that one, definitely you need to bring your gi.
Yeah, for sure. You that'd be terrible if you didn't have your gi on that cruise. Oh man, this will be an experience to remember forever. Just the idea of being able to train with you 3 for several days in a row for a week is amazing. And then also getting to be on the ship and do cool things that they have on the ship or off the ship. Meet new friends and go out there and go snorkeling together, or riding 4-wheelers in the forest or whatever there might be that you want to do. It's going to be like unforgettable.
Yes. It's going to be like really good memories. Meet people like all over the world,
And Jazi, one of my favorite things is that the food is really good, and there's as much as you want to eat. And so for a week, I have trouble with food. It's a challenge, and it's very delicious. So that's something for me that I have to be careful on. Good desserts.
I love desserts. So.
But all belt levels are welcome because you'll be teaching stuff to everybody. Is that right?
Yes, all levels. They are like more than welcome to come. If you want to have a good time with your family and friends, meet new people, and train jiu-jitsu, let's go.
Yeah, and if the idea that you could bring your family, and let's say your husband doesn't train. He could hang out on the cruise. He could go swimming and do things while you're training, and he won't feel like he's missing out on anything, and you won't feel like you've left him to go train. He's going to be having a good time when you're rolling.
Yeah, have fun for everybody, for the whole family there.
Yeah, so it really is a thing that if you're the only one that trains in your family, they could still all go and have a great family vacation, and you can go do jiu-jitsu at the same time. And it sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to. I hope to go. I don't know, but it is. I'll say the date again. It's April 29th through the May 26th, and it sails out of Orlando. Check out the website grapplersescape.com. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, and we're having Kathryn on here, and she'll explain a little bit more details about this. This is going to be their fourth one, and having talked to Kathryn, and we'll hear from her in a minute, that people do these over and over again because it is really an amazing experience. If she has people doing this year in and year out, like that just says how good of a time that they have and how much you can go and have a wonderful vacation and come back better at jiu-jitsu. That's amazing.
Yes.
So this is just really exciting for me to see this kind of coming together, and I think it's a great opportunity for people to have. I've had a blast talking with you. Where can somebody go to keep up with you on social media?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, Gezary Matuda, Gezary, and my Facebook page too. And I would like to say thank you for all my sponsors, Show Roll, Varus, Pulse Skincare, and I think they're gonna be on the ship too. So, we always gonna have a few gifts for everybody. And I want to say thank you for Grappler Escapes. And I can't wait to see you out there next year.
Yeah, that's cool. And your sponsors you're bringing some sponsors along. It just keeps getting better. That's really cool. Yeah, thank you so much for doing the interview with me. I've had a blast getting to know you and learn from you today.
Oh, thank you, Byron. Thank you, everybody, for all the help, all the support. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this Friday, my gi is coming out. So it's a project what I'm working for the last 6 months. And my gi is finally out this Friday. So it's going to be on Show Your Roll website.
Awesome. And we'll put, actually, by the time anybody's hearing this, it will be out. So I'll put a link to your gi. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, thank you
so much. It's a beautiful gi, and it's a very good project. I did it with a lot of love.
Oh, do you help design it?
Yeah, I help out design. I choose the colors and everything.
Well, go check
It's a beautiful gi.
Yeah, check that out, guys. I'll put a link in the show notes, or just look on Show Your Roll's website and check out her gi.
Yes, Gezary Matuda project.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Byron.
All right, my friends, I'm excited to bring Kathryn Arnold to the BJJ Break podcast. Kathryn, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Byron. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, Kathryn, this is a different type of interview. Usually, the person I'm bringing on the show is significantly better than me at jiu-jitsu. I'm going to just guess that I've got more experience on the mat than you, but that's really not what we're talking about today. I'm really excited. This is a cool opportunity for people. You run the website and the program, Grapplers Escape. Tell us a little bit about Grapplers Escape.
Sure. So Grapplers Escape is a training camp on a cruise ship. And the idea came about because I wanted to do a group cruise. Cruises are they're pretty fantastic. You get to be outdoors. You get to be in different cities and different dates. And the idea to bring the best of the best of world champions and give people an opportunity to not just train with one or two of them, but 3 or 4 of them as on the mat and off the mat is an experience that you can't really get very many other places. And so the idea to do a training camp on a cruise ship evolved when we started speaking with Salo Nishanji Ribeiro and Andre Galvao about 2.5 years ago. That was our first one. And they loved the idea, and that's how we got started with Atos and Ribeiro Academies.
That's really cool. And that was a couple of years ago, and you've done several since then?
Yeah, so we did our first cruise in 2015 with Andre Galvao, his wife, Angelica, Salo Nishanji, and JT Torres and Felicia. And that was our first one. And since then, we did a cruise with Master Pedro Sauer and Henry Akins and his guys. And then our cruise in April was with Bushesha, Mackenzie Dern, and Leo Vieira. So word is spread through the community of champions that this is a fun thing to do. So pretty much everybody wants to come with us now. It's kind of exciting.
I think we all could kind of, I guess, a little bit try to vision what it'd be like to train with these people. But a lot of people have never been on a cruise. I've been fortunate enough to go on a couple already, and they are a great way to have a vacation. But just kind of describe what the ship is like, where it will be going. What is a cruise 101, Kathryn?
Sure. Well, this time we're going on the biggest ship we've ever been on. We're going on the Oasis of the Sea, which is really like a floating resort. It is ginormous. I will have to tell you that. There's a lot of people on the ship, but they do a great job of spreading the flow. The ship, first of all, we're sailing out of Orlando, and we'll be going to Labadee, Haiti, which is a private island in Haiti, which is just gorgeous. And then we're going to Jamaica and then to Cozumel. So those are the ports that we're going to. And the ship, how do I describe it? There are 7 neighborhoods on the ship, Byron. That's how big it is. There is a central park with shops and cafes and tree-lined boardwalk. There is a rock climbing wall. There is 2 flow riders, so you can actually surf or boogie board on the ship, several pools and jacuzzis. They have a ton of great restaurants. They have the dining, which is included. So what's great about a cruise, and excuse me if I'm rambling a little bit, but there's so much to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's great about a cruise is it's all inclusive, right? So you get the 18 plus seminars. So we'll have about 30 hours of instruction with Braulio Estima, Gezary Matuda, and Keenan Cornelius. We're super excited to have those 3. And so you can train, you can go to great dinners, you can go boogie boarding or surfing, you can go see an aqua show, you can go see an ice skating show, you can relax at the back of the ship and read a book. And then you get to go to these amazing ports. So it's a great combination of travel, jiu-jitsu, and fun.
Having done it too, and having done a lot of other vacations that were not cruises, it's a very relaxing and enjoyable experience. The food is spectacular on a cruise ship, and that both times I've been on a cruise, I was surprised with how much food they can produce at a very high quality, and it's always around. And it's a really cool experience. And then to think of being able to do that, it's like a moving giant hotel where you don't have to worry about where you move to. You get on the ship and you hang out and have fun and have a good time, go to sleep, wake up, and you're at a different destination. And they do all the traveling for you. It's amazing. And the destinations are really amazing places to go. And,
yeah, definitely. What's cool about the cruise ship is once you get on, you're right. Once you get on, you don't have to think about anything. It's a vacation without thinking. The biggest decisions you have to make are, am I going to all the training sessions, or I'm just going to go to the morning session? Do I have a spa before dinner, or do I just go on the jacuzzi? What excursion do we want to take in Jamaica? Do we want to go snorkeling with Braulio, or do we want to jump off a cliff with Keenan? So these are the fun things that you can do on a cruise. And when you have these champions with you, they're really great about sharing their time with you on the mat, but also sharing their time with you off the mat. And because you're on a cruise ship, you're going to run into your friends. You're going to go dancing one night. You're going to have dinner with them the another night. And you get to see these people, the guys, I say, and Gezary is a girl, you get to see them in their normal life. What is it like to have dinner? What is it like to dance with them? What is it like to hang out with them? And it's really a special experience. I have to say it's been magical for our guests, and many have come back. They're coming back for the fourth time.
You have a really cool Facebook page, and it looks like there's a kind of a surf thing on the ship.
There is, and Braulio happens to be a very good surfer. So they have these things called flow riders, and they are surf simulators that are actually on the back of the ship. So you're on the top deck of the ship, the entire Caribbean behind you and around you, and then you can stand up and surf, or you can be on a boogie board. And they have instructors there that are helping you, and then you just take off. And I've seen people that wipe out, 5 times in a row, and I see other people that get like a 3 or 4 minute surf. And Braulio is actually challenging everybody to a surf competition. So he's super excited about that.
Yeah, I saw that on the Facebook page. That's pretty funny. And that's really what it is. Like, yes, there'll be lots of jiu-jitsu. I think you said around 30 hours of jiu-jitsu classes in this week-long cruise. But there'll also be like off-the-mat activities that are really fun to do. It's not like you are not having a good time while you're not rolling and training.
Exactly. We do our best to schedule the training in the morning and the evenings and give everybody a lot of time to explore the ship, relax with their friends and family, and enjoy their vacation time. And on the days that we're in ports, those 3 days, again, we'll schedule it so that everybody's completely free to take an excursion, relax on the beach, explore what they want to explore, and have time to make training. We're not really hardcore about the scheduling. If people want to take a rest, because it's a lot of training, they're welcome to. If they want to come to every class, they're welcome to. The mats are open 24/7. So we've had people, train, go to the beaches, come back, train some more, have dinner, and then go back in the mat at 10, 11 o'clock at night and hang out. So it's really a vacation for people to design it exactly how they want to have their own vacation.
Now, you talk about how big this ship is. I've been on 2, and this is Royal Caribbean. Those are the 2 cruises that I've done as well. But the ships weren't actually quite this big that I experienced. But I guess with the bigger the ship, the little easier it is with any waves that are in the water. It kind of smooths it out. Is that true? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, they do. Normally the seas of the Caribbean are fairly calm.
Yeah.
We happened to go on the ship a couple weeks ago just to make plans and preparations for everybody. And it was in the middle of hurricane season. It was a little bit rocky, but the ship is so large. You're right. It smooths out the waves. There was only really 1 or 2 days that I felt it moving. And I happened to get motion sickness, so I'm always super aware of it. What's good about it is that they have these, they have medicine now, homeopathic medicine and Western medicine that you can take, and it gets rid of it right away. So even someone like me who gets severely seasick, I don't get seasick on the ship if I'm, for the most part. And if I do, then I just take one of these little pills, and it just goes away. But the ship is large. Like I said, there's 7 neighborhoods on the ship, so you can imagine it's pretty big.
It is. It's actually hard to imagine though, unless you just go to grapplersescape.com and look at this upcoming event and see how big this ship is. And I remember being on the cruises I was, most of the time I couldn't tell that we were moving or rocking at all. There was like one night I was like, I kind of feel this, and it's, a little bit. But as the ships get bigger, you feel it less and less, because really they're encountering more than one wave at a time. And it kind of smooths itself out. If you imagine if you're on a very small ship, every wave is going to make it tilt up and down, up and down. This is that's one of the really cool things about these big ships, let alone all the cool things that they put on them.
Yeah, it actually lulls you to sleep. It's kind of like Rockabye Baby. But what I like about this ship, though, it is large and it does carry a lot of people, but you rarely notice that there are a lot of people. In certain areas you will, but they have a really nice, there's so many neighborhoods to go to, so they have a really nice flow. And if you want to just relax in a quiet garden area with the sky above, you can do that. If you want to go to the back of the ship and just be with you and your guest or your friend or your family and read at the back of the ship, you can do that. They have jacuzzis, that are hanging over the side of the ship where after training, you can go and float in a jacuzzi and watch the sunset. So we've had a great time on these ships.
Yeah. And if you don't know about the area, the easiest way that I can explain it is go to like Google Maps or go to Google Earth, I guess, and look at the Caribbean. And there's no place else on Earth that looks like that on Google Earth. It's just the color of the water is amazing. And that you look overboard and that's what you see. It's an incredible experience. And to just think that you'd be doing jiu-jitsu and that. Kathryn, how do the mats? I mean, I'd imagine most cruise ships don't carry a lot of mat space or a lot of actual mats to grapple on. How do you guys get over this?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest decision-making points that we think about when we're choosing our ships because we need the space. So this time we have 4,000 square feet of space. And Zebra Mats has been our sponsor for the last 3 cruises, and we're excited to have them on board again. And so Zebra, we give them the schematic of the conference room, and they design mats specifically for our event. And they put them in, and they're there every day because there's so much training and there's so much on the mat time that they are always there to make sure that they're cleaned, right? Because the mats have to be cleaned, and that they stay put. So it's a pretty massive operation that we have kind of turnkey now going into our 4th cruise. But we become a true floating dojo.
Real quick, I think you mentioned it already, but I want to get it again. What are the dates on this?
So the dates of this cruise are April 29th to May 6th, 2018. And we sail out of Port Canaveral, and the closest airport is Orlando. So if you're driving or flying, you go into Orlando, and then it's about a 45-minute drive out of there. And then we return back into Cape Canaveral. So people, if you're flying from the West Coast, you probably want to come in the night before. And we usually have a cocktail party where the athletes come in and we all have a cocktail party at a hotel the night before, and then we get on the ship. So it's a great way to, have an icebreaker and meet everybody. And if you're close enough on the East Coast, if you want to come out on Sunday, that's fine. We just want to make sure that everybody gets there, into Cape Canaveral no later than 1:32 because the ship unfortunately doesn't wait for us. And it sails at 4. It's pretty prompt.
Yeah. And I've had, both times I've done it, you get on the ship early and you walk around these giant ships and really nobody's on there. It's kind of fun. They're serving food already and that's a cool experience. And the ship set sail on the 29th. If you could be there a day early, it kind of helps if you happen to have some plane, troubles at the airport or anything like that. You definitely don't want to miss that actual time. That
exactly.
It's set sail, but I recommend.
And then you get to meet the champions in an even more relaxed environment because they all fly in the night before, and Braulio may be bringing his kids, and Gezary is bringing her husband, who actually is a top level instructor in Muay Thai. And so this year we're going to add some new elements to it because Jiu-Jitsu really pulls from some of the other martial arts, including judo, a little bit of Muay Thai and wrestling. We this year are going to be having a 3rd degree black belt in judo, teaching some judo classes, and then Gezary's husband is going to be teaching a couple of Muay Thai classes. So we're really trying to round out the game so that people get, not just the jiu-jitsu, but even more than they expect actually in terms of training and instruction. Yeah.
People always think of vacations as being like an expensive thing. And cruises definitely aren't, driving 2 hours to the neighboring city and getting a hotel for a night, come back home. But what you get on a cruise is really amazing. Like you mentioned, it's everything you need is there. The food and a lot of entertainment, and then also jiu-jitsu. And so you get in like about around 18 or so seminars that you have access to by these world-class athletes and instructors. And you look at that price, you don't have to think about transportation. It's already in there. You don't have to think about food. It's in there and all these other things about, getting off the ship on a little island somewhere else, and they've taken care of all that stuff. I think that's really an amazing thing that just makes them a lot easier. And there's a lot of value for a cruise, let alone a cruise that you're doing a ton of jiu-jitsu on. So this could be, maybe you take a jiu-jitsu trip every year and a vacation every year. This could be like, combine that into one amazing experience.
Oh gosh, well thanks, Bart. You kind of nailed it there.
So there's a lot of value in this trip. Obviously, if you are a grappler and enjoying jiu-jitsu, but a lot of us have family that maybe all the family doesn't train, or maybe a spouse isn't real interested in training. Can they come along, or what's up with that, Kathryn?
Absolutely. And it's a great question, Byron, because we have a lot of people that come, maybe their wife or husband doesn't train or their kids don't train, and they wonder, is there anything for me to do? This is actually what makes it a great vacation for BJJ enthusiasts, because this is a training camp. They can bring their spouse, their significant other, their kids, and there's so much to do. And the people that don't train become friends, and they hang out. And we have cocktail parties on the ship. We have group dinners on the ship. We even do beach parties that everybody is welcome to. And what's also cool, and I think this is important to note, because people ask me, do I have to be from a certain academy, or do I have to be a certain belt level? No. All academies are welcome. All belt levels are welcome. And we've had someone who got on the mat for the first time, someone who's been training only 2 months, and then we have first, second, and third degree black belts who are coming to train with the champions, of course. But what they like, especially if they're competitors, they're learning the game of people that are training all over the world. We have grapplers from Iceland, from Australia, from Sweden, from America, from Mexico, from Brazil, from Argentina, Japan. I mean, Canada. It's so many different styles and so many different games that are being played, and everybody is just there to teach and learn, from white belt to top level black belt and all in between. It's pretty spectacular from that perspective.
Yeah, this is amazing. It's kind of like a giant melting pot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The whole places from all over the world are going to come in and train, and they see the enormous quality and training that is offered by these instructors. It's also, you think, yeah, you can go to Brazil and train for a week there. Also, I don't know if there's much more of a safe place to be than on a cruise ship, as far as like having something bad happen to you. Yeah, people on cruise ships are in a safe environment, and you could bring your family. So if you wanted to go do a big training trip in Brazil and go to the inner city of someplace and just train all the time, well, is your family going to enjoy that trip? Probably not so much. But ask your spouse or ask your kids, hey, would you guys like to go on a cruise ship? And show them a little bit about what's on the ship, and I guarantee you they're going to be on board, literally.
No, exactly. And there's a really good kids camp on there that's open till midnight. So if you want to just let your kids run around and have fun and make friends, kids, they have camps starting from 6 months to a year, all the way up to like teenagers, and they each get various age groups are defined so that the kids go together with kids of their own age. But you just reminded me, Byron, of being safe. I have a funny story about Andre Galval.
Yeah.
So, none of these instructors had ever been on a cruise ship before. And, Andre and Angelica had a fabulous time, and they brought their daughter and their niece and had a fabulous time. So afterwards I said, Andre, what'd you think of the cruise? He's like, well, I loved it. It was super fun, but I have to tell you, I was a little bit nervous and a little bit scared. And I said, a black belt of your degree and the champion that you are, world champion, of the world, and you're telling me that you are scared on a cruise ship? He said, yeah, just being out there in the big open space, it kind of freaked me out. I said, well, what'd you do? He said, well, I'm a champion. I got over it and I just did it. And it was really interesting to see a big hulking guy like that say that he was, scared on a cruise ship. It was pretty funny, but he just loved it.
Yeah,
he said and once he got on the ship, he didn't even notice.
Yeah, it really feels like you're in a building. I mean, it's amazing feat of modern engineering. But and I imagine it's the same way as when I did it. The first night or first evening, they have a drill of where you're going to go if there's a problem and how those escape little pods work. But they're giant. You get into another big ship or another big boat. But I don't know if there's anything like that. The Caribbean is a very safe place to be on a ship. It's just like a big blue clear pond.
That's why we like to. That's why we like to go into the Caribbean, because the waters are calm. And when you get to the islands and you just go on deck you've been sailing all day the first day and then you open up and you're in Haiti. I am telling you, it is spectacular. It's just this gorgeous island with this blue water, and you can go jet skiing, you can go zip lining, you can relax on the beach. It's pretty spectacular each morning being in a different place. I love that about a cruise ship.
Yeah, and as somebody, when I'm on vacation, a lot of times we're driving or stuck in an airport and trying to travel to the next spot. Like you go to sleep and you show up at a new spot. It's amazing, just how easy everything is. And I think you hit it perfectly. If you have a family that does not train or is not serious about training, they have other stuff to do. So while you go off and you're doing jiu-jitsu, they're happy to do their activities. There's so much to do on these ships as far as things that keep you busy and have fun.
And the funny thing is, sorry to interrupt, but I just remembered, I have to tell you that there are families on the ship, and we do have kids, and they train, and it's awesome. But we also have a lot of single people. And you know how they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
I've heard that.
we have that motto: what happens on the ship stays on the ship. We've been known to have quite a few romances blossom on our ship, plenty of shenanigans, fun stories that are happening all day long in the piano bar or up on the decks or in the nightclub. So for those single people out there, we have a lot of our people are single, but then of course you have a ship full of people, and we've had a lot of fun things happen. Let's just put it that way. Grapplers Escape is something to remember.
Yeah.
My partner was just reminding me, we actually have a couple that met on the cruise one year, came back together the next year, and I believe they're getting engaged quite soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, that just kind of reflects on that they came back the second time. So you have a lot of people that have gone to the Grapplers Escape cruise before, and they come back. I think that's a big...
Yeah, we have over 50 people returning for their second, third, and fourth time. Yeah, we have people that are coming for their fourth time. Wow.
I think that just screams like, yes, these people are seeing a lot of value and having a great time in what's happening.
Yeah, no, it's I have to say, Byron, I've been involved in, entertainment and events and sports all my life, and I have never been involved with anything that's been quite so magical. It's really the word I use because, people are doing what they love. People love jiu-jitsu. They're on the mats. They're making friends with new people. They're training with the top level champions in the world. Then they get to go and have dinner or coffee or drinks or scuba dive or snorkel or zip line with the same people. And the bonds that are made are extraordinary. People are traveling to Iceland to see their friends. They're meeting up in New York. They're training together in LA. They're meeting in Kansas City. They're seeing each other at the competitions. And it's just a new BJJ family that, people didn't have access to before.
Wow. That is really cool. How could somebody go find more and learn about this if they're interested in doing it?
Great. So you can go to our website. Well, you can go to our website, which is grapplersescape.com. We also have a Facebook page, which is Grapplers Escape, and we also have an Instagram. So you'll see lots of pictures. Most of the information is on our website. And I'd like to offer your listeners of BJJ Brick Podcast a $200 off discount. So anybody who emails us at info@grapplersescape.com and mention that they heard about the cruise on your BJJ Brick Podcast, we're happy to offer them a $200 per grappler discount.
Wow. So definitely mention that. You're hearing this now, and that's very, very generous of you. And I'm at your website now as we're talking, and I'm loving the logo. It's two people kind of setting up the grapple, and it also has an anchor.
Yes.
Worked in there, so that's really check that out. That's really kind of fun. But yeah, the discount is very generous. But even without that, there's tremendous value. I think it'd be amazing to go looking to see if this will work out for me, and that kind of opportunity would be an amazing experience. I definitely love cruises as a vacation method, and I like to train when I'm on vacation. Another question I have that I should ask a long time ago, but training that much, up to 30 hours of training. There are 18 seminars, give or take. Our gis are going to get a little bit funky, like what do you recommend as far as, Gis, how are we going to keep these gis clean, and do we need to bring a couple, or what do you recommend, Kathryn?
That's a great question, Byron. Obviously, keeping your gis clean and keeping the mats clean and keeping yourself clean is of critical importance to us and to the ship. So we have arranged with the ship to have laundry service and a turnaround of 24 hours. So it's a small additional charge, and the ship will clean the gi and not dry it in hot. We've learned, and we're very particular about that. And we recommend that people bring 4 gi and /no gi outfits so that, you're covered, but then you can have them washed on the ship for you and brought back to you in a 24-hour turnaround.
Wow. That's one of the little details that hate to, if you forget it, it's gonna hit you. But bring several gis, and then you guys worked out a program with the ship as far as helping us keep them clean. So that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And we didn't mention the fact that there are no-gi instruction as well. So we have 2 or 3 no-gi classes, and we also do some women-specific classes because we do get a lot of women coming. About 40% of our guests are women. And so we make sure that they have a couple of women classes. That goes over really well. And we may have a good number of kids this time. So we may have some kids classes also on the side.
Cool. It seems like you're kind of adapting to the demand and what's happening there as far as what the people that are showing up want to do, and that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to collaborate. I mean, this is for our guests, right? This is a trip for them, and we want it to be as spectacular for them as it can be. And especially with our return guests, they're all part of the process. They, a lot of them help us choose what instructors. They help us decide what type of classes, what they want, like the judo people requested and the Muay Thai people requested. So each time we're going to start bringing in other specialties so that it's a really well-rounded cruise and you get an experience that you may not get otherwise.
All right. And there's a chance, if things work out on my end, obviously if you're listening to this, you're a fan of the podcast, you're going to choke me out. So that's always a plus. And I'll be happy to, any listeners that go, if I get to go, I'll be happy to work with you guys and make sure that we're all having a great time as a little kind of a subgroup of the bigger group. I think that's a kind of a neat idea. And I'm sure there are lots of those that form and that are on the ship as well. But yeah, it seems like a big, happy group of people training.
And we have groups that come. So if people have 4 or 6 grapplers, you're trained at the same academy, you have friends that you want to come together, we also can work some group discounts out for people. So, just email me at info@grapplersescape.com. Let me know that you heard about this from BJJ Brick Podcast, and we'll work out some pretty great deals for everyone.
Cool. And I'll continue to update you guys as far as what's happening with the cruise and if it's likely that I'll be going. I got to say, Kathryn, you've been super responsive to anything I've had as far as questions or anything. Super high quality of service before the ship is sailing. That's a really important. It doesn't take you very long to get back to any questions I've had. And your phone number is on the website. That is awesome.
It is.
You don't see that very often.
I talk to everybody. There's not a single person. There's a couple people, but usually I've had at least one, if not several, email or phone conversations with the guests, and we become a family as well. I've made great friends with our guests from around the world. So it's just a phenomenal experience, and I love what we're doing.
All right. Kathryn, it's been fun talking with you and excited about this event, and hope that some of the listeners check into going. I think it would be an amazing opportunity, both on and off the mat. Amazing, unforgettable vacation of a lifetime.
Oh, well, Byron, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And I want to see you on the ship. I can't wait.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you, Byron.
All right. I want to thank our guest this week. Excited for the cruise. If you're going on the cruise, have a blast. Send us an email. Let us know what's up. Also, we're kind of considering going. Gary, unfortunately, it looks like he's probably out.
Yep, I'm actually not allowed out of the city without permission. So, I cannot leave. So I'm kind of caught right now. I mean, just for the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, once the lawyers get things straightened out, get that figured out, Gary.
Yeah, it'll work.
Come on, Starsky.
Yes, okay, Hutch.
But I'm up for it. It's a bit out of the budget. I didn't really plan on doing a trip like this, but I think it would be an amazing experience. It'd be a lot of cool podcast content that we can come home with. So here's kind of what we're thinking. We're thinking about doing a Kickstarter and seeing if our friend Joe, who is the third brick on this 3-stacked brick pile, it's a short stack, but Joe is potentially interested as well and able. And so maybe we'll do a Kickstarter, try to raise some funds and help kind of, I don't think we'd get to the point where we'd pay for the whole thing with Kickstarter, but if we can just get some help, I think we could have a trip of a lifetime, see some of you guys on the cruise and spend really a week with you guys. And
like you said, Byron, just get a little bit of help, get somebody willing to extend an arm.
Oh, man. Or, even just a hand is pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, Gary's doing smooth today.
Oh, yeah. I'm just rolling. Yep. It's always easy to roll when I'm here with my buddy Ponch.
There we go. I don't.
Ponch and John, dynamic duo. Poncharello. Okay. Chips. Come on, Byron.
Okay, I have seen Chips when I was a kid. I didn't actually know their names. I know that they're two stunningly handsome.
I'm Festus, and you're Marshall Dillon.
Gary, I try to use references that you're familiar with. You got to use stuff from when you were like a teenager or when you were in your 20s, and I'll start to catch on. Okay,
that was my fault.
Some of the audience is enjoying the awkwardness of me not knowing who these people are.
Yeah, I guess that maybe when next time Joe's on, he will understand.
That's
he
true.
Will get him.
That's true, Gary, and we got some cool news about that coming up.
Yep, Joe is going to be on next week.
What's up with next week?
I actually don't know what is going on.
Okay, I'll tell everybody. Next week is a big fun show.
Oh, because Joe's on it.
Yeah, it'll be. Joe's been on a lot of times. He writes articles, does a ton of our social media stuff. It really helps out behind the scenes a lot. Occasionally we'll get him on the show to talk about an article. We're going to have him on the whole show. And every time we get Joe on here, we just have more fun recording. And so this is going to be a blast. Next week is the end of the month episode. It's a topic episode. We don't have any guests other than the three amigos here. And we'll be talking about points and sub-only tournaments and kind of how they're different, training for those, what you would do differently, just kind of where things are going in the sport and how it's kind of a different sport altogether. A lot of different things to talk about those. We'll have a blast. Next week's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so definitely make sure you don't miss next week because like we said, everybody's favorite guest is going to be on Joe.
Gary, we've got an article this week, my man. Is that a surprise?
It's not a surprise, Byron. We've had one on for 214 straight weeks.
Okay. This article is it's called Key Jiu-Jitsu Moves for BJJ Beginners. I saw this and I was like, all right, let's see what we have here.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times when you first start, you really don't know, what to work on. Should we work on a Barambola? Should we work on flying triangles? But that's probably not a good idea.
Well, yeah. Well, they're really cool moves, though, Gary.
Yeah, definitely.
So this article, it could be found on martialarts.zone, and I'll put a link in the show notes to make it a little easier for you. But we'll have some stuff to talk about this. We're not going to read the whole article, obviously. The first key point that they have, it's under moves, but I think it's more of a point, is relaxation while rolling. That's not really a move. But if you can relax while rolling, you'll do better. You'll see more things. It's typically not really possible to relax while rolling maybe your first week or two. But once you realize that the upper belts aren't just like trashing you and they're letting you work a little bit, they may be tapping you out a few times in a session, but they're letting you work, they're letting you escape, they're letting you try the moves that you learned today. You're able to relax and just know that you're training this and you're trying to be safe with it. And there's a whole system of keeping you safe. It's called tapping out and not rolling at 110 miles an hour. These things will help you relax if you realize that this isn't a life and death struggle. Anytime you want to tap, you sure can, even if you're just uncomfortable. So relax. You'll see more.
Definitely relax. And like Byron said, you'll see more. And, I think a lot of times, the new people don't relax as much because they really don't know where it's going. Like Byron said, once they realize that the upper belt, the more experienced person is really not out to hurt them or trash them. They'll calm down a little bit. And, we're all here to help each other, and we're going to learn a lot more if we can stay relaxed. Second point, bridging and shrimping. And I know Byron always says this, shrimping ain't easy. So we definitely need some videos to help us out with shrimping. The cool thing about this article, what I like, is after each little section like bridging and shrimping, he actually lists or has a video, showing you how to bridge and shrimp. But, just focusing on those two movements, it's really going to help you help you get out of bad situations. A lot of times people are like, really, what am I bridging and shrimping for? And, like people will say, shrimping ain't easy. It's not fun. It's not easy. So, not just do the exercise, but tell them how it's going to help them. How are we going to use bridging, to get somebody off mount? Why are we shrimping, to recapture our guard, to, grab a single leg, to, get into half guard, to get out of a precarious position? So definitely, practice your bridging, practicing your shrimping, watch the video. Definitely help you out.
Yeah, one of the things I find myself saying repeatedly to people who are on the mat for the first time or maybe the first week, I get side control, and they just look confused. I'll tell them, get your legs back in the game. Do something to bring your legs back in between us. And ultimately, that's shrimping, to make that space to get your knees back in or get your legs back. And they kind of figure that out. Most shrimping that is ineffective, especially with the beginners, they just turn to their side. They don't actually move their hips away. You got to shrimp properly. We talked about buffets earlier this episode. Take them to a shrimp buffet, or maybe get some jumbo shrimp. Big shrimps are better than small shrimps. You like that, Gary? It makes sense, though.
That does. Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes you want the small shrimps. Sometimes you need the big jumbo shrimps. It depends on what situation you're in.
Typically, you shrimp more than you think you need to because they're trying to prevent your shrimping, though, and you'll need to just do more than one little tiny shrimp. That doesn't fill anybody up.
No, popcorn shrimp.
You need a lot of popcorn shrimp to make a meal.
Yeah, definitely.
The next thing on the list here that they have is grip strength or improving your grips. Not the biggest fan of focusing on that early. It's more important for BJJ than it is for no-gi, but the article says it. You're going to naturally get your hands stronger. You could do other activities to help your grip strength specifically, but I really think that moving your hips, getting your legs where they need to be are all very important things. Grip strength is nice, but oftentimes, especially with beginners, they're gripping and they have no point to it. So just picture yourself in a beginner's guard. They'll grab your collar, grab your sleeve, then the collar grab will go from your collar and move it to your leg, and then they'll change the hand from one sleeve to the other sleeve, and then it's just like switching their grips around because they don't know what to do, but they're trying a bunch of stuff that is just not making sense. They have no direction to their way they're traveling. So having super good grip strength at the very beginning, that would be nice. It always is nice when somebody walks in the door and there maybe somebody works with their hands all the time and they have strong hands. You could tell that right away. It's like, man, you got some strong hands. But it may be not the most important thing to focus on early on, or even
ever. People look at you weird, when they first come into jiu-jitsu for the first time and you tell them they have strong hands?
No, I think that they know that they have strong hands because they work with it's always somebody who works with their hands. You don't walk in the room and if you're not a grappler and have strong hands and not know it. Like, these are people that are swinging hammers all day long.
Yeah.
Giving massages.
Other stuff too.
What's the next on the list, Gary?
Escaping side mount. And there's nothing worse than being in side mount and not being able to get out. And I think that's one of the things when I first started. I just remember getting in side mount and just being so helpless, not knowing where to go. And I think that's one of the things that really kept me to do jiu-jitsu. It was the thought of helplessness. So, we don't want other people to have that thought of helplessness. So, we need to learn how to escape, side mount. And then that comes back into what we were talking about earlier about the bridging and jumbo shrimping. That's definitely going to help out there. Relaxation too. I see a lot of times somebody just, gets in side mount and just goes crazy and gets nowhere, lowers their gas tank, and they're in trouble. So definitely check out the video. Getting out of side mount, learning your escape skills is definitely going to help. You need to relax and, use your skills that you're going to learn so you can get out. I remember when I first started, somebody would get side mount on me, and I would hold them on top of me. I'd wrap my arms around, and, this is jiu-jitsu, not MMA, but that was like my instinct, just to grab. And, that's a basic instinct of, humans, and we really don't. It really doesn't help us in that situation. But if you can look at the picture on the video, you see the I think that's a lady on the bottom. You see her framing, and you see her, hips are coming out. She's shrimping, and she's using great technique to escape side mount against a larger bald-headed grappler.
Always got to mention the bald head, Gary. Yeah, that's escaping mount or escaping side mount, whatever. Wherever you find yourself frustrated and stuck, you need to learn some techniques to get out of those spots. The next thing on the list here is a standing guard pass. I think you can cross off the word standing and just say guard pass. You need to learn a guard pass. Yeah. If you have the problem, and a lot of beginners do, when they stand up, they get swept, they get knocked down. It's not bad to pass low or pass on your knees or do like an over-under pass. Those aren't bad things. But you need to have some kind of a way to attempt the pass to guard. You're not going to be slicing through anybody's guard. Even white belts that have had a couple of months are going to have a guard that's going to give you trouble. So learn a guard pass because you're going to be in people's guards, and you're going to know how to attempt to pass it correctly and safely.
Yep. And I'm going to skip one and just go to the end. It's not a move, but practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
There you go. Gary.
That's what I
like
to
it.
say. Yeah. But, we do need to practice. I can't just come to one class, have one instruction where, I'm taught to get out of side mount and think that I'm going to learn it just from that, day. I may drill it for 10 minutes and try to work on it with a partner that will allow me to work. But if I don't work it again or practice it, I'm not going to remember it. It's not going to help me. I need to practice it. I need to practice it well. If I have a bad habit and I'm doing something wrong and I'm working with Byron and I'm day one, and Byron's a black belt as he is and been training 15 years, I would expect Byron, if he sees a bad habit, something that I'm not doing right, to correct that, just so that I don't keep doing it. And next thing I know, my chin's out and I'm getting choked or, who knows what I'm doing. So perfect practice makes perfect. So practice, and, do it the right way. And pretty soon you're just like everything, we're going to get better at it, incrementally better each and every day. We're going to pick up a little bit something, and that muscle memory is going to kick in, and we're going to start, getting better and, flattening that learning curve. Yeah.
The perfect practice, an easy example I could see that I've made as far as a mistake is like armbar drills from guard. If you're trying to get a whole bunch of armbar drills from the guard and you're not raising your hips up, you're not clamping the head, and you're just kind of like doing a whole bunch of reps, and you're just throwing your leg over, your hips are low, there's space in the arm, you're not doing a really efficient job, that may not really be helping you. It may be a workout for your abs, but it may not really be helping you get better arm bars.
I remember we used to try to get so many reps. I think instructor would say do 50 reps of each position. And, man, everybody just rolled through them. And, my partner hated going with me because, I didn't just care about reps. I wanted to do them well. And I would end up getting like 10 done, and time would be up because everybody else was done. And, it always kind of shortchanged me. But, I'd rather do 10 good reps than 50 horrible reps. And like Byron said, that, if I was trying to go really fast, I'd get a heck of an ab workout in. But, I just found that it didn't work for me when I tried to do that. I would just develop bad habits just to, bang out the reps. And it wasn't helping me like it should have. So, I was just like, hey, if I don't get 50, no biggie. I'm going to, just do reps perfectly and, methodically. So it's going to help me and I'm not going to have any bad habits.
Yeah. Even the way I like to do reps nowadays is, do 10 good reps, nice clean reps, and then if you do another 10 and have them introduce the element of, fighting back a little bit. So they're going to do, if you're doing the armbar from guard, Gary, I might kind of get my head in the way of your leg. if I can, I might kind of get my arm pulled out, my elbow pulled out if I can, or I might not let you move your hips so easily. So those are 3 things I could do, and I'm going to pick one of those 3 every time, and you have to address that and overcome that. And I think that, and yeah, you're going to do 10 like that, and you'll get them, but I'm going to make you work a little bit more. And that's better, I think, than just doing the 20 or even 50 of the ones that no resistance at all and doing them very fast. Reps are important, but you got to do them right. You got to have a little bit of resistance too sometimes.
Yep, reps are important. A little bit of resistance good. Definitely check out that article. We have a link to it on the show notes. Great article. And like I said, check out the videos with it. I kind of like the interactive article because there are videos. So awesome article. Key Jiu-Jitsu moves for BJJ beginners.
Yeah.
Next, I would like to say a big thank you to Tim. Tim, we don't know his last name, is our newest Patreon supporter. He pledged $1 per show. Thank you very much, Tim. Because of you, it just makes it a little bit easier to put on the show each and every week for 214 straight weeks. We have a link to Patreon in the show notes. Patreon is a website for content producers like ourselves. Basically, you can pledge per show, a one-time donation. But basically the money goes to help us put this show on, to keep us going each and every week. And if you do become a Patreon supporter, you get a couple benefits that the regular listener doesn't get. You get a BJJ Brick gi patch sent to your house. You get a BJJ sticker, a BJJ Brick sticker sent to your house. And you get to join the private Facebook group. And the Facebook group, it's, Byron does all the interviews, and a lot of times he will post in there and hey, what questions do you have for, like Jeff Munson we had here not too long ago. And, it's kind of cool that, we will get, listeners involved, our Patreon supporters, and they get to be part of the show by asking the questions, giving the question that Byron's going to ask. I thought a weird one, or not a weird one, but a unique one was a couple weeks ago when Andre Montero was on, and somebody in our Facebook group asked him about, does he play video games? And, that's a question I probably would have never thought of, and Byron probably never would have thought of. But, yeah, hey, who knows? Just because Byron and I didn't think of it, who knows that? And when we did a survey, we did find out 37% of our listeners do want to know about video games. So, it's something that, that me and Byron may not have thought of, but, it's something that people want to know about.
Yeah, Gary, you got to let me know when you do these surveys.
Yeah, I actually surveyed 2 people. I don't know how I came up with 37%, but it happened, Byron.
Your math is probably a little off. And we do, big thank you, Tim, for signing up and being on the Patreon supporter brick wall there. And, we actually have his email, basically have his last name. It starts with an H. We just don't tell everybody's thing on the podcast.
Oh, so we do. Byron held that out for me.
I did. I just put Tim on the little notes there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But
thanks
Tim,
for
you know who you are.
Byron, thanks for setting me up for failure. I appreciate it. Yeah,
just like side mount.
Yep. If you would have just extended an arm to me and helped me out.
You just extend your neck and help me out.
Oh, there you go. I will.
I will.
Yep. Hey, speaking of that, you definitely don't want a coach who's going to tell you to extend your neck out. That's probably not the best coach.
It's true.
What we're looking at is we're doing a coach of the year. We're also doing a blog of the year. Basically, send us an email, bjjbrick@gmail.com, why you like this blog, why it's your favorite, why your coach is, should be coach of the year. The more details you put in it, the better chance your coach has to win. We have now started receiving, some entries for this coach of the year and blog of the year, but definitely get some to us. How cool would it be if you were the person who nominated your coach, or if you were the person who nominated your training partner's blog to be recognized as the blog of the year or the coach of the year? So definitely get them going. Tell your friends about it. Send it to bjjbrick@gmail.com.
It is an essay contest. So if you send me an email and it says, check out my coach, and it's to their website and it's to their profile, I'll look at it and I'm sure you got a great coach. But we're collecting these essays about the coaches or about the blogs, and we're going to put them in a little pile and send them out to a group of judges. And I'm not going to send a website to a judge. Well, kind of with the blog, maybe so. But tell us why you like the blog. I'll send your essay about the blog to the people that are judging. And it's really takes a little bit of skill of writing, a little bit of storytelling. Maybe it's impacted your life in a way. Maybe your coach has, maybe the blog has. And sell it that way. It's a lot better than just having us do all the legwork, because that's not going to get done. We got too many entries coming in to go figure out what makes your coach great. Tell us in a few paragraphs or whatever you want to do the impact that they're making and the chances of, because I'm sure all these coaches are really great that are coming in, but the chances will increase because this is a competition, and we don't know these people, so we're not just going to go pick them because we know they're great. We want you to write a good essay about that. That's really what we're looking for.
Yeah, so definitely get those entries in. Hopefully your coach wins. Hopefully your friend's blog or your favorite blog wins. So definitely get them into us. Essay style, bjjbrick@gmail.com.
Gary, I want to air a throwback Matt Tales. Here we go.
This is Matt Tales. We bring you amazing jiu-jitsu stories. The stories might be funny, unfortunate. It could be about an epic fail or an epic win. So sit back, my friend, relax, dry off your sweat from rolling, and enjoy Matt Tales.
To set the scene for you, my friends, I have just lost 50 pounds and quit smoking. I was getting a little bored with my fitness routine and wanting to spice it up. Some friends of mine that do jiu-jitsu in their garage invited me to try it out. One of them is a purple belt and the other a blue belt. Well, I was excited to get some good exercise and even learn something new. I showed up the first day wearing my jogging clothing and felt a bit out of place looking at them in their gis and colored belts. I was definitely nervous, but one of them let me borrow his extra gi. Well, we warmed up, did some techniques, and started rolling. And you probably know how this goes. Me being the new guy, I'm rolling 120%, trying to survive and trying to swim with these sharks. After rolling for a little while, or just, you might call it getting tapped out several times, my friend's wife showed up. She's a blue belt and about 110 pounds, much smaller than me, and she asked me if I wanted to roll. I got nervous pretty quick, but agreed. I was able to dial my speed back from 120% to just being 100%. And I quickly got caught in a triangle choke where I tapped. Not really understanding what just happened to me, how this woman, much smaller than myself, had just tapped me out very easily, I sat there contemplating what would happen next. What would happen next is she triangled me again. Well, that was my first day of training. The days go by. We trained every Sunday for well over a month, and every Sunday I got caught in multiple triangles by my friend's wife. After several weeks, I showed up to the garage with the attitude, not today. I will not get triangled by her today. Well, my first roll was with my buddy, and he tapped me out about 10 times. Fortunately, none of those were a triangle. A second roll was going to be with her. So I kind of loosened up from the beating I had just received and started to roll. Well, it's no surprise, my friends, that I immediately got locked up into the triangle position. The movements that I did next could best be described by
The triple Lindy.
Is that hard?
It's impossible.
I began to flip and twist and contort my body and really flail all over the mat. I jumped from one side of the mat to the other, landing on my back on my feet. It was truly an amazing triple Lindy. But who am I kidding? These were not a beautiful assortment of techniques. I was just flailing on the mats, and eventually my heel struck the face of my friend. I sat there confused and tired and listening to a string of obscenities. Once I gathered myself, I looked at my friend laying on the mat. I had kicked him in the forehead, split his eyebrow open. He bled all over his gi, and he was laying there in agony. I apologized as much as I could for my movements. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to escape, and it was an accidental foot to the face. I'm so sorry. To make matters worse, he had a competition next weekend. With the stitches he was going to get, he was not going to be able to compete. Also, his brand new gi was covered in blood. I went home pretty defeated, feeling bad for what I had done. A few days later, I got a text from my friend saying that he was okay and I was welcome back at the garage. A lot happened that day as I reflect, but one of the things was not a triangle choke.
This has been Mat Tales. Some of the names and places may have changed. We may in fact have taken some creative liberties with the story. In order to keep Mat Tales going, we need more tales. Tales from listeners like you. Send your tales to bjjbrick@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing your amazing stories.
All right, with the throwback Mat Tales taken care of there, that's always fun to replay those and see what happened. And the audience loves the Mat Tales, but we need more coming in from listeners like you. If you have a crazy story, maybe a story that happened on the cruise last time, that'd be cool. We'd love to make a Mat Tales out of that and share that with the audience.
Oh, that would be cool. Good idea there, Byron.
You know what else is a good idea, Gary?
To end this show.
You mean like last episode ever?
No, just episode 214. I said this show, not the podcast.
Gotcha. Not the podcast.
Yep.
Well, real quick, everybody wants to know about your audiobook, Gary. You tried to get out of it one more time, and you just didn't weasel. You didn't shrimp hard enough.
I didn't use jumbo shrimp. It was just popcorn.
Just popcorn. And so this is a part of the show when Gary has to describe and kind of sell an audiobook that he has not made and really is unaware of, even the title. He's got to come up with some content and let us know what's happening with that audiobook. So, Gary, are you ready for your audiobook?
I am ready.
Gary's audiobook is called Starsky and Hutch Jiu-Jitsu, Fighting Crime on the Disco Dance Floor.
Back in the 70s, one thing I really learned, dancing can be used for self-defense. Dancing is kind of like jiu-jitsu. You know, it's an art form. It's a way to express yourself. So basically what I'm working at is a lot of these moves, you know, that we can use in disco dancing, we can also use on the mat. And then we're also going to talk about, you know, if there's a dance-off in disco style, how to defend yourself, you know, against a guy coming at you. And the good thing about the 70s is we wore big collars, you know, disco dancing. Huge collars. And really, what does that remind you of? A gi. You know, gis have big collars. So, I mean, if these big collars in shirts ever do come back, jiu-jitsu guys are going to have an advantage in self-defense situations. So the first 4 chapters are all about different ways to use that collar, not to break posture and to choke your man unconscious or your dance partner unconscious. So we are going to work a lot about that. And, you know, it's going to be hard for an unconscious disco dancer to win the dance off with you. You know, what do you think about that, Byron? How is that person going to win if they're unconscious?
Well, if they convulse a little bit on the ground, they probably would have better dance moves than me.
Yep. Think about, barambolas. How easy is it to get grips on the pants when you're wearing these big old, flared pants at the bottom? You got huge grips.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't think about that. How easy it is, to pin your opponent down, with the downward pressure, forcing them so they can't move their legs, and you pass guard. So, I mean, it's really easy with those big flared bottom pants. So it makes a big difference.
Gary, you're right. A lot of people don't think about that. I've never thought about that. And you just blew my mind. And now I'm thinking about those big platform shoes with the goldfish in them, Gary.
What am I going to do with those? You will not be walking off that dance floor. You will be crippled if you wear those to the dance floor with me. I'm going to heel hook you. It's going to be so easy. It's going to be unbelievable. Not only am I going to heel hook you, then I'm going to break the glass and eat the fish right in front of you. While you struggle to get up. You will not be able to get up because your legs won't be working.
Oh.
So not only am I going to win the dance contest, I'm not going to go home hungry because I just had a fish sandwich. What else could you ask for?
I would ask to not have that done to me. So this is really a tale of Gary's adventures in the 70s. Is that right, Gary?
Yes, definitely. Before I knew jiu-jitsu. But now, basically what happened in the 70s before I knew jiu-jitsu is I got beat up all the time.
That's true.
But I can change these stories around because now I know how to use the flared pant legs to my advantage, the disco shoes, the platform shoes to my advantage, the big butterfly collars to my advantage. So it'd be a different story today. I would be taking names out on the dance floor. People better bring a lunch pail if they want to mess with me on the disco dance floor.
There you go. You better bring a lunch pail, and you better go swing by and check out our new app. It's free. It's in the App Store that's on your phone. It's that simple. Type in BJJ Brick. It'll pop up. We'll be on there hanging out with you. You can listen to all the podcasts, listen to all the extra stuff we put out. We've been doing a lot of after the show episodes where after we cut off today on the show here, I could leave the tape recorder going. Tape recorder. Not quite the 70s anymore, Gary. I leave the digital recorder going, and we just kind of talk about how the show went, maybe expand on a few different jokes, give each other a hard time, how we do sometimes, and have a good time. And this is all on the app, and you can't get it anywhere else, other than when I accidentally publish it to not the app. Done that before. But, yeah, it's intended to be app-only stuff, and that's where you're going to find it.
So definitely check out the app. Tell your friends about the app. Tell your friends about BJJ Brick Podcast. Tell your friends about BJJ Brick on social media, YouTube, Reddit, what's that other thing called? Twitter. How could I forget the name Twitter? Definitely tell all your friends about it. If you happen to be passing through the Midwest, we are in Wichita, Kansas. Send us an email, bjjbrick@gmail.com. We'd love to get on the mat and roll. Have some fun. Have a good time. Train with each other.
Yep, we're going to be having a good time next week. We talked about it a little bit. Joe's going to be on the show. We're talking about submission only and points-style tournaments. The show, I think we're going to call it The Big Lepoitsky, based off of one of my favorite movies, The Big Lebowski. So maybe I'll get to throw in a few Big Lebowski-style quotes in there.
I like it.
Gary, have you seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie.
Dang, I hope Joe has. Either way, I'm going to be throwing out references for the audience because I know everybody else has seen the movie.
Yeah. Byron, I do have a little funny joke, or not a joke, but little funny scenario. But Byron and I really like the movie Napoleon Dynamite, and we try to make a lot of comments about it in here. So yesterday, my 10-year-old son goes to a birthday party, and he comes back today, and he tells me that he watched a really stupid movie, and it happened to be Napoleon Dynamite. And I couldn't believe it. I told him that's the funniest movie ever. That movie's great. How could you call it a stupid movie? So I guess my son doesn't have great taste in movies like myself and Byron.
Well, what is his favorite movie?
I really don't know. It could be A Dog's Purpose. He really liked that movie.
Well, I've never seen that, but you tell him that movie is stupid, and then you'll be even.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Father of the Year coming up, Gary.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week and see what happens.
We'll check you guys out next week. It's been fun. Stay sweaty, my friends.
And don't forget to extend a hand and an arm to people in need.
Hope to see you guys on the cruise.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
When did you decide that armbar was one of your favorite things? Was it something that you've been doing a long time, or was it something that as a brown belt or a black belt you started to develop a good armbar?
No, yeah, it was something. That's our dog.
Yeah, it's I record this on two different things, and while you're talking, I'll just mute mine and it will go away. So I'm gonna make mine.
Okay.
Well, it's not.
Keep it here. Keep it here on the podcast. It's gonna be cool.
All right. I'll re-ask you because it's hard to just start off at nothing. So when did you decide that arm bars were going to be one of your big things, big part of your game? Was it as a brown or black belt kind of late, or were you early on really attracted to doing arm bars?